What's up, people? I got a funny one about family. I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly of infighting in family, or family infighting. Now, of course, I call me and my mother the good. I call the fighting my cousin Vic, which I talked about in another video, he's the bad. And you know who got involved also, which I found out, which I call her the ugly. Even though I married her, she's the ugly. My ex-wife. She got involved because taking care of my mother or somebody with dementia, they tell stories about you. And when you're the only one taking care of people, certain people, these other people who don't live with you and don't see what's going on, they believe stories. It happens. Trust me. Protect yourself. If you're a caregiver, get help. Protect yourself. Tape, record everything. And get a good lawyer, because there might be someone out there trying to screw you over. And beware of the people like ex-wives or ex-husbands or someone close to the family that's just outside that wants to be friendly because they're looking for something. And I believe my ex-wife was looking for some type of payout. So if you're watching, hun, you never got it, did you? I hope you're very happy with your sorry life. That's for sure. And I wish nothing but bad on you. So if you ever want to talk, there's a dial tone waiting for you. Anyways, the good, the bad, and the ugly. When you get a bunch of lawyers and you try to ruin someone, I talked about this in another video, all you can do is read up. And I remember buying all types of trust books because I was trustee. And you buy all types of books, you read up, you do what you got to do, you ask questions, you talk to other lawyers that, not other lawyers, but lawyers that might be familiar just to get information, because you got to protect yourself, because people are they're getting lawyers that are coming after you to try and ruin you. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Family sucks sometimes, guys. I'm just letting you know. It really does. And if it gets vicious enough, they will leave you homeless. So, I tell, be prepared. Don't just sign anything. And if you're ever taking care of somebody, which was me, I was a caregiver for a lot of years. Then when the stories start, doesn't take much. Doesn't take much for somebody with dementia to, like for instance, I took my mother to a doctor, her doctor, and what it was, she was into it, not fully gone, but aware, but back and forth. So during the visit, I said, I'm just going to talk to the doctor. Well, my mother got suspicious. And she said, I don't want you talking to my son. What are you guys you conspiring against me? You want to put me away? She says, no. I said, I was asking her for help. How do I get more help? And that's another story. So, once somebody with dementia gets that in their head, they're not going to get better. And the dementia's going to get worse. And the stories they concoct in their life. Because my mother used to see people in the house. I remember telling the cop, because we had a good relationship, the cops were down at my house so much, and they would call me at work and say, yeah, we're going down to your house. Your mother saw someone in the house again. Okay. All right. Make sure the dog's in. Make sure the dog's got food and blah, blah, blah. And we'd have a kind of joke back and forth. And I said, hey, but it wasn't until it was getting near the end, and the cop pulled me aside one time. He says, hey, I don't mind coming out here, but do you realize Like, this is the cop telling me, do you realize if your mother gets to a certain point and says you beat her up or hit her, I have to arrest you? And I never saw that. I never got to that point. I was like, wow, the crazy stories people can tell. I can only imagine what they told the bitchy ex-wife or the insane cousin trying to ruin my life. Everybody's conspiring against you. We are still taking care of this poor woman. And it's just, it gets crazy. And I said, wow, really? And yeah, that's when I said, you know, I got to take it to the next level. I got to get the law involved and tape record things and do what I got to do to protect myself. Because I had the people from whatever the elder care thing tell me, them personally, well, she might be taken advantage of. So collect the mail and kind of monitor her mail. I wasn't taking it from her, but of course she thought I was taking it from her. And that's another whole story. They go off on tantrums and literally, okay, she would call the post office and try to get her mail or the mail delivered, because she couldn't walk down the driveway, get it delivered to the house so she could go through all the mail first, because she thought I was taking it from her. Which in turn, I knew I never would have in her deteriorating state. God only knows if I ever got my bills, and I wouldn't know. Luckily, the state not state, but the post office got involved and said, we can't do that. But I'll tell you something about that. Had a slight little business relationship with the postmaster in the little hick town I was in. Talked to her back and forth. I thought it was great. We talked about the situation. And wouldn't you know, like a year later, from all the craziness, as you're talking to her, all of a sudden, this one day I talked to her, and I swear someone got to her. Totally different attitude, totally different person, as if she acted to me as if we had never talked before. And you take a step back, it's like seeing a friendly person at like a newsstand. And you're always buying a paper and you have that little relationship and you're talking and you're sharing stories. She just went total business. I can't help you anymore. I said to myself, wow, someone got to this woman, and she either can't get involved or has nothing to do, or something law-wise threatened her. I don't know what it could have been. A lot of craziness happens in family, guys. A lot of craziness. That's why I say the good, the bad, and the ugly, guys. You never know who's conspiring to hurt you. And that's when this shit hits the fan. So that's all I'm saying about that. Good luck if you're ever in that situation.